In fairy hills, there were small fairy houses built by the riverbank, where butterflies danced with the flowing water. For the people of this kingdom, the king and queen were like parents. Because of their kindness and justice, everyone was prosperous. But the biggest weakness of their kingdom was their only daughter, the Princess Rozaliya. She was unmatched in beauty. Her eyes sparkled like stars, and her wings carried the magic of silk. But in her heart, there was no place for others. She lived drowned in pride and glory. That is why the people of Raya did not call her with love, but by the name of the arrogant fairy. Rozaliya's room was filled with jewelry and precious items. In her wardrobes, there were such dresses made from the colors of all 7 valleys. Rows of shoes shined so brightly that even light felt shy. Her makeup boxes were made of costly gems. But despite all this glitter and sparkle, there was not even a little kindness in her heart for others. She would look down from her window at the poor fairies in the market, and with disgust say, "Their wings are so dull, and their clothes are so dirty." For her, life was just a grand gathering where only glamour meant everything. She would ride out in golden chariots in the morning, spend her day shopping, and dance at feasts at night, passing through poor neighborhoods. She would order her servants, "Make the ride faster. The air here will ruin my dress." If ever a poor person's cry reached her ears, she would ignore it as noise. The king and queen often advised her that true glory lies in serving Raya, but Rozaliya would laugh it off, stand in front of the mirror, and fix her crown. One day, news arrived that from a faraway kingdom, a prince had come to the court. His name was Elok. When he came, everyone was surprised, because unlike other princes, he was not dressed in expensive jewels or royal garments. He wore very simple clothes, yet in his eyes was peace, and on his lips a gentleness that won over every heart. When Rozaliya entered the gathering, all the princes began to circle around her. Some wanted to gift her precious necklaces, and some expensive boxes, but Elok sat quietly. He neither praised her nor gave her gifts. He only bowed respectfully and said, "Peace be upon the Princess of Fairyland." These words struck Rozaliya's pride like lightning. That night she told her friends, "How is this possible? Everyone is crazy about me, but he doesn't even look at me." Her friend laughed and said, "Maybe he truly isn't captured by your beauty spell." Hearing this, Rozaliya's pride grew even more. She said, "No, this cannot be. Tomorrow, I will make him praise me." The next day, Rozaliya wore her most precious dress, a crown of pearls and golden jewels, and went to Elok. With arrogance she said, "Don't you see? Everyone's eyes are on me. Why don't you, like the others, praise me too?" Elok calmly replied, "Princess, beauty is meant to touch hearts. Your face is beautiful, but in your eyes I see pride. True beauty only affects hearts when it carries softness and compassion." Rozaliya bitterly asked, "So my beauty means nothing to you?" Elok sighed deeply and said, "Not everything is about money and sparkle. Love and respect come from the feelings of the heart." This sentence struck Rozaliya's pride like a heavy blow. Angrily, she said, "If you do not like my world, then leave this kingdom." Elok looked at her with sorrowful eyes and said, "One day you will understand that everything is not about wealth. That day you may remember me." And he left the palace. After Elok's departure, Rozaliya's world became lonely. The feasts went on, jewels still glittered, and music still played, but inside her heart grew an emptiness. She would look into the mirror, but the charm of her beauty seemed lost. Elok's words echoed in her ears, "Not everything is money." Slowly, a new feeling awakened in Rozaliya's heart. Everywhere she imagined Elok helping the poor, giving them medicine, receiving their prayers. Rozaliya began to think, "This is the real treasure I never understood." From that moment, she began to change. She left the feasts and started going among the people of Raya. She would sit with them, listen to their words, and serve them. Sometimes she stayed up all night with the sick. Sometimes she shared the work of laborers. Rhea was astonished that their once arrogant princess had changed. As time passed, the emptiness of Rozaliya's heart was filled with service and compassion. She now understood that true happiness lies in sharing the pain of others. Yet in her heart, the memory of Elok remained alive. Many months later, news came of a great festival in Elok's kingdom. Rozaliya decided to go there. When she arrived, she saw Elok sitting among his people, laughing, listening to their sorrows, and sharing their joys. Rozaliya stood quietly in a corner, only watching him. She thought to herself, if only he could know that I have changed. When the festival ended and people began to leave, Rozaliya slowly walked up to Elok, tears shone in her eyes, and with a trembling voice she said, Elok, forgive me. I never valued your words, but now I know, not everything is money. I have made the sorrows of others my own, and now I understand that true happiness lies in sharing with others. Elok looked at her for a few moments, then smiled and said, Rozaliya, I have loved you from the very first day, but I wanted you to realize this truth yourself. And today, you are the one I had always dreamed of. Saying this, he embraced her. A few days later, preparations for marriage between the two kingdoms began. On the wedding day, stars in the sky bent down and smiled. Flowers rained, and the court glittered. Rozaliya, glowing in a golden dress, stood radiant. But this time, the real light of her beauty came from the softness of her heart. Elok held her hand and said before everyone, she is not only my bride, but the companion of my life. Rhea rejoiced in happiness, and thus, the story of the arrogant fairy Rozaliya turned into a tale of love.